Our culture tortures us relentlessly. And then we torture our children with our culture the moment they arrive. Our culture of lie is what we torture our children with. The one thing our poor dear children need to hear immediately on arrival is, "You are the Eternal. Welcome." And that is the one thing our culture refuses point blank to allow us to tell them. It's tough enough already for the Eternal to be born into self-amnesia in the first place, without having a whole pre-established system of lying in wait for them to deal with the moment they get here. You are the Eternal. Welcome. Is that really the most impossible thing in the world for us to say? The more progressive nations will repeal all laws making it compulsory for children to attend school. Schools for all our truest knowledge and skills will still exist. They just won't be compulsory. We teach ourselves and learn from each other naturally. The last thing we need is to be forced by law to sit in a box several hours a day and be fed lie as truth. Do you know what the secret is to speaking your future into existence? Would you like to know? Do you wish to speak your heart's desire into fulfillment? Then you need to speak it. And in order to speak it, you must first know what it is. Discover what it is. We have been conditioned to wonder for ourselves what truly is my heart's desire in the context of mortality and ethical hierarchy, in the context of lie. Your heart's desire, whatever it may be in any idiosyncratic given moment, is the heart's desire of one who is eternal. If you do not know yourself as the Eternal, then you cannot even identify your own heart's desires coherently for yourself, because you are believing you are something you are not. The simple step is taken and completed first, before the more complex. The simplest, most solid foundation stone is laid first. Not until you accept that simple, always in effect truth that you are forever, can you go about the business of discovering for yourself what you think and feel about that, and what you plan to do about it, and what you plan to do with it? And so, I speak my own future into existence. The more progressive nations will repeal all laws making it compulsory for children to attend school. Schools for all our truest knowledge and skills will still exist. They just won't be compulsory. There you go. That's how I do it. We'll see how long that one takes. The prospect of achieving relentless self-honesty can be a terrifying idea for those of us who were raised by lie culture, which is all of us. Perhaps the harshest aspect of relentless self-honesty we fear the most is the arrival of those moments of, oh shit, I invested so much of myself in believing this thing that I must now admit to myself was a lie all along. I invested my whole being, my whole self, in believing that, and I no longer can. What am I supposed to do now? The prospect of such moments is not to be taken lightly. Such moments pull our tremendous strength and courage out of us painfully, seemingly mercilessly. I believed in lies. I gave my love to lies. That one hurts hard. I gave my love to lies. It hurts to admit it, because we know that ultimately it was us who lied to ourselves the most. But until we do allow ourselves to feel the hurt of admitting that, we do not admit it, and so continue to do the thing that is too painful to admit we are doing, giving our love to lies, giving our love to that which does not love us. I encourage you to be both determined and gentle in coming to be relentlessly self-honest. And the answer to that hurt is not retribution. Not retribution against others or retribution against yourself. The answer to that hurt is that through your own self-honesty, you discover your own self-love. It is not until you achieve your own self-honesty and self-love that honesty with and love for others will flow naturally and spontaneously. And your self-honesty and self-love flows naturally and spontaneously from the understanding that truly, through no fault of your own, you are eternal. You need never apologize for your existence because you have never had a choice about it. All you have ever truly wished for is that you feel better rather than worse. And those who raised you did not have the answer to this. You were raised in confusion and taught that confusion is what life is what existence is. And you are the eternal. You are the eternal child. Your past self is your eternal mother. Your higher self is your eternal father. You are the eternally young. And so, you owe yourself. You owe yourself a self-love that is your absolute default. You recognize truth as your ally. You see clearly. Hide nothing about yourself from yourself. And you come to love yourself. You do. It's not really loving yourself that is a frightening thing. It is lie culture that is a frightening thing, because lie culture is a frightened thing. Because lie culture believes existence itself is confusion. But existence is never confused. It gets mysterious as all get out, but it never gets confused. The eternal is as the eternal does. And there is only the eternal and its myriad reflections. There is only you. You and your myriad reflections. The question is next, how well can you tell reflection of you from living extension of you? This is what it is to be the one I am. Truth brings coherency. Choices that are coherent with the truth naturally bring the love, freedom, and agency that the eternal eternally desires and therefore chooses for. So I encourage you to set out on your journey to your own relentless self-honesty and self-love with a spring in your step. And I encourage you to observe how existence responds to you when you begin to talk to it and listen to it as a literal extension of your own eternal self. For the eternal, it is a fundamental self-accountability, the truest, most relentlessly loyal of self-honesties. You owe the most loyal of self-honesties to yourself always. Take this one, for example. This example of how lie culture works as an inversion of truth, and see how loyal is your self-honesty right now. You cannot say that I am Jesus, while I do say that you are the eternal. How long shall we keep this up? Now, I have a clip I found on YouTube that I would like to share now as an example of how we attack our children with lie culture. Before I show it, I want to make clear I am going to be criticizing the culture of the father in the video, not the father himself. He seems a lovely enough human being, and all credit to him for filming this conversation at all. But this is an example caught on camera of a parent being confronted by the pure glory of the sight of their own child channeling truth, speaking their own future into existence to the best of their ability, and then doing their best according to the imperatives of culture to douse the glory they see transmitting from their own child before anybody else sees it.
I do not like how you are saying these stuff.
Okay.
One is you are being pretty mean to Hope.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And you were mad.
I'm a little mad. She's not being
And
fair.
Dad,
Okay.
you do not be nice a lot of times to the kids, except for Isaac and me and your wife. And that's all.
So
Out of all kids.
so sometimes I have attitude. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
No. Sometimes you have attitude is not what I was trying to say. What I did say is that you specifically target Hope with your meanness. The father in this clip is not a bad man. He is only a man saturated in lie culture. And this is how his particular flavour of lie culture talks to the eternal when the eternal is embodied as one's daughter. She knows that sometimes you have attitude is not what she said. She knows it's only that she's willing to settle for that much right now, because Dad has a history of choosing to be obtuse. Please observe the rest of this clip as an example of what happens when the old soul is in the young body and vice versa.
Yes. Okay.
So what do you think I should do with Hope's attitude then?
Dad, if you don't talk about this,
Okay.
and you don't do this, she won't do this. Okay?
So you think I'm making a bad choice?
Yes.
It's hard being a dad. And you want to make good choices for your
Dad.
kids. What?
That is why God gave you me. And
Yeah.
that's why he gave you me and Isaac. That is why. So then we can have talks with you and make you good to the kids.
You're right. You do help me to be a better dad.
And that's why God brought us to be healed.
So I can be a better dad to all the kids?
Yes. That's why
Yeah.
he brought us healed.
I believe this. I believe this. You have helped me to be a better dad. All right. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to try to take your thoughts and pray about them and talk to Hope, okay?
You leave whole call.
Okay?
That's gonna be whole call. And leave it there.
Okay.
And leave whole puppy there.
For
Okay?
sure the puppy. The puppy is for sure. All right. I love you.
The call is still gonna be there.
Okay? We'll
It's
talk.
gonna be Hope's call.
Okay. You have to pray about that too.
I know that. Dad.
Okay? I love you.
You too.
And that last bit just about breaks my heart. She fought so hard for her sister's justice. And if anybody deserved to have a parent be beaming righteous pride for their dear darling daughter, it was her in that moment. Well, you have to pray about that too. And she says, I know that. What is perhaps most painful for me to witness here is how the culture has got its talons in her already. In this particular case, it is God culture, but it could just as easily be maths culture, science culture, atheist culture, comic book culture, as you like. And so I witness here a girl looking to assert the truth of reality and doing an inspiring job of it, even as lie culture presses itself into her being and promises to not let go. Lie culture tells us the answers to our problems here lie in outer space and in the decisions of the rich and in the development of warfare technology and health technology and information technology and media, education and entertainment technology, and on and on and on. But clearly, the answer to the problems of a broken humanity is the children. It's very simple and self-evident, is it not? For humanity to be fixed, so to speak, we need to stop breaking the perfectly good babies we have arriving here all the time. There's nothing convoluted or esoteric in this logic, is there? Once we stop breaking our babies and dousing the glory of our children, we only need a few generations before we have a good base of sane humanity about the place. And how lovely would that be for us, eh?